My name is Daniel Carter, former pilot of the Earth exploration fleet. Before the day everything changed, I spent most of my life flying reconnaissance ships along the outer colonies, charting unexplored systems, and occasionally escorting cargo vessels through dangerous asteroid fields. Space had always been predictable to me. Ships responded to commands, engines obeyed physics, and computers translated the chaos of the universe into something understandable. But nothing in my years of flying prepared me for the day I was captured by an alien patrol. It happened near the edge of the Orion frontier. My small survey ship had been mapping a newly discovered star system when my sensors suddenly lit up with warnings. Unidentified vessels. At first, I assumed they were pirates. That happened sometimes on the frontier. But when the ships came into view, I immediately realized these weren't human designs. Their hulls were sleek and organic, shaped like curved blades of silver drifting through the darkness of space. Blue energy pulsed along their surfaces like veins. Before I could even activate my defense systems, a beam of light locked onto my engines. My ship went dead instantly. Within minutes, their boarding craft attached to my hull. The airlock exploded inward, and a squad of armored alien soldiers stormed the cockpit. They were tall, easily 7 feet, and their armor shimmered like liquid metal. Their helmets concealed their faces behind glowing violet visors. I raised my hands slowly. "I'm guessing you're not here for friendly conversation," I muttered. They didn't respond. Instead, one of them activated a device that wrapped glowing restraints around my wrists. And just like that, my life as a free pilot ended. The alien warship. They brought me aboard their main vessel. Calling it a ship felt inadequate. It was more like a floating city. The corridors stretched endlessly, illuminated by soft blue light embedded in the walls. Strange symbols pulsed across the surfaces, and the air smelled faintly metallic, like ozone after a lightning storm. The soldiers escorted me through several security gates until we reached a massive chamber. At the center stood something incredible. A ship. But not just any ship. It rested on an elevated platform surrounded by energy fields and dozens of armed guards. Its hull shimmered with golden patterns, unlike the silver vessels I had seen earlier. "This," one of the soldiers finally said through a translator device, "is the royal blood vessel." I frowned. That sounds important. Before the soldier could answer, another voice echoed through the chamber. "Because it is." I turned. Standing at the far end of the platform was an alien woman. Unlike the soldiers, she wasn't wearing armor. Instead, she wore a dark ceremonial uniform with silver markings along the sleeves. Her skin had a faint blue tint, and her long white hair flowed down her back like liquid light. But her eyes were the most striking feature. Bright violet. Sharp. Intelligent. "This human is the pilot we captured near the frontier," one soldier explained. The woman studied me for a long moment. "So this is the species they call adaptable," she said. I shrugged. "I've been called worse." She stepped closer. "I am Commander Lyra of the Valkyrie Imperial Fleet." "Nice to meet you," I replied cautiously. "I assume I'm your prisoner." "Yes." "At least you're honest." She turned toward the golden vessel behind her. "Tell me, human, what do you know about royal technology?" "Nothing," I admitted. "Good." That confused me. "Why is that good?" "Because it means you will not attempt something foolish." The ship that only obeyed blood. Commander Lyra gestured toward the golden vessel. "This ship is sacred to our empire," she explained. "It is bonded to the bloodline of the Valkyrie royal family." I raised an eyebrow. "So only your king can fly it?" "Only those with royal genetic markers." She pointed toward a console near the ship. "Even our greatest engineers cannot control it." I leaned against the railing, studying the vessel. So, it's basically a giant alien DNA lock. Her expression didn't change. Yes. Then why show it to me? Because humans are curious. That's one way to say reckless. She folded her arms. And reckless beings often attempt the impossible. Suddenly I understood. You think I'm going to try to pilot it? I think, she said calmly, that you might embarrass yourself trying. The soldiers nearby chuckled softly.
Great.
I was the entertainment. Well, I said slowly, I've never been one to turn down a challenge. One of the soldiers stepped forward. Commander, the human cannot be allowed near. Lyra raised a hand. Let him try. The guards stepped aside. I walked slowly toward the golden vessel. Up close, it was breathtaking. The hull seemed almost alive, its surface shifting slightly, as if responding to the environment. A ramp extended from the platform to the cockpit entrance. Just so we're clear, I said over my shoulder, if I break it, that's not my fault. You cannot break it, Lyra replied, confident. I climbed the ramp. Inside the cockpit, everything was alien. No familiar controls. No recognizable interface. Just a circular chamber with glowing symbols covering the walls. For a moment, I felt completely lost. Then something strange happened. The symbols began to shift, rearranging, adapting. The walls lit up with new patterns. And suddenly, the ship felt different. Almost like it was aware of me. Middle, the impossible moment. Behind me, the soldiers watched from the platform. I heard one of them whisper, "The vessel is reacting." Lyra stepped closer to the observation barrier. That is impossible. Inside the cockpit, the floor beneath my feet illuminated with golden light. A projection appeared in front of me. Not words, not numbers, but images, stars, navigation routes, engine systems. It was like the ship had decided to translate itself. Okay, I muttered. Now we're getting somewhere. I reached out and touched the glowing interface. The ship hummed. Outside the cockpit, alarms suddenly began to sound. The vessel is activating, one guard shouted. Lyra's voice echoed through the chamber. Deactivate it immediately. Trying, I replied. But the truth was, I wasn't trying to stop it. I was flying. The ship responded to my movements like it understood my intentions. Engines awakened with a deep, powerful vibration. The golden vessel slowly lifted off the platform. Every soldier in the room froze. One of them whispered in disbelief. The human is controlling it. Lyra stared up at the cockpit window. Her violet eyes widened slightly.
How?
The ship rotated gracefully in the chamber. Energy thrusters flared softly, stabilizing its position. I opened the communication channel. Commander, I said calmly, I think your ship likes me. That ship obeys only royal blood, she replied. Well, I said, glancing at the glowing interface, maybe it just needed someone who actually knows how to fly. The truth behind the ship. After several tense minutes, I carefully lowered the vessel back onto the platform. The engines powered down. The lights faded. When I stepped out of the cockpit, the entire chamber was silent. Every soldier stared at me like I had just performed magic. Commander Lyra walked slowly toward the ramp. You activated the royal blood vessel, she said quietly. Apparently, that should not be possible. Your ship disagrees. She looked up at the golden hull, then back at me. There is only one explanation. Let me guess, I said. Secret royal ancestry? Her expression remained serious.
No.
She turned to the soldiers. Leave us. Within seconds, the chamber emptied. Once we were alone, she spoke again. The vessel was designed thousands of years ago by the first Valkyrie emperors. And it was built to recognize intelligence, not just blood. I blinked. Wait, what? Over centuries, our people began to believe only royalty could control it. So, you built a myth around your own technology. Yes. I leaned against the railing. Sounds like politics. She studied me thoughtfully. But you proved the truth. And that's bad. It changes everything. Ending. A pilot for an empire. Later that day, the Valkyrie fleet received a distress signal. A hostile faction of rebels had attacked one of their outer colonies. Their fastest warships couldn't reach the system in time, but the Royal Blood vessel could. Lyra stood beside me in the command chamber. You could save thousands of lives, she said, or crash your most sacred ship. I believe you will not. I looked through the observation window at the golden vessel waiting on the platform. You realize your empire is about to trust a human with its most important ship. Yes. Bold move. She smiled slightly. Humans are known for bold moves. I walked toward the ramp. Well, I said, let's go save your colony. Minutes later, the engines of the Royal Blood vessel roared to life. The ship launched from the Valkyrie flagship like a beam of golden light. Inside the cockpit, the alien interface came alive again. Stars stretched into glowing lines as we jumped into hyperspace. Lyra stood behind my chair, watching the navigation systems. You pilot as if you were born for this ship, she said. Maybe the ship was born for me. She looked out at the rushing stars. Perhaps the galaxy is changing. I grinned. Good. Ahead of us, the battlefield awaited. But this time, the Valkyrie Empire had something new. A human pilot. And a legendary ship that no one believed he could fly. Until now.